Good afternoon. Welcome back to my Rant channel on movies that absolutely suck. I am back to do a follow-up video, a part 2 video on a movie that I did a rant video on quite some time ago. Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. I was asked recently by one of my subscribers, could I do a part 2 video? And I'm once again back to rip this movie to shreds. I hope you all really understand there comes a point in Hollywood history to where those movies come out that are just simply not needed. That is how I felt about this goddamn movie for so many years. We all know the story. Somebody in Hollywood thought it was just a great idea to give us Home Alone 4 in 2002, which they misled and lied to us about and said that it was characters from the original movie, the first two Home Alone movies, which were absolutely fantastic. We all anticipated that Macaulay Culkin was going to come back as Kevin McAllister, despite we all wondered how that would even be possible because he's an adult. We thought that maybe we would see the memorable performances from Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern reprising their role of the Wet Bandits. How would Kevin get out of this? What would be the plot, and why are they waiting this long to do a movie? Well, in 2002, when this movie came on TV, within 5 minutes, I was utterly let down. This movie, as I mentioned in my previous video, everybody else has done videos on it, rant videos, you name it, reviews for this movie, have all roasted this movie for being misleading, characterization done wrong, replacing characters with actors that should be older with younger actors. This movie, a silly plot of Kevin thwarting Marv and his girlfriend who are trying to kidnap some rich prince, going against what Marv was about in the first two Home Alone movies. Mind you, he's recasted by French Stewart because Daniel Stern saw through this movie. He said the script was garbage and he said no. Probably saving himself a lot of career harm by avoiding this movie at all costs. This movie, it was directly made for TV. Intended to launch a sitcom if it went through okay and if it was successful. Which, thank freaking God, we avoided that. A sitcom where Kevin is left home alone every freaking episode. Do you know how dumb that is, Hollywood? We all avoided an imminent bullet with that idea if it ever came to be. Because it was going to bomb like this movie. And I'm glad we avoided it. But getting back to this piece of crap film. They give us a movie with Kevin McAllister, the character, and he's recasted by a kid who is a lot younger than what Macaulay Culkin was in the first Home Alone. Okay? The kid's got brownish hair. He's got his brother Buzz and his sister Megan, who are also younger in this movie from what they should have been. Following Home Alone 1 and 2, they should be older, but they're younger. Okay? The film was filmed over in Africa. They didn't even use the actual Home Alone house. Combined, they don't even use any of the themes from the first two films. It doesn't even feel like it's a Home Alone movie because they have this generic music that plays in the very beginning that looks like they just got some kind of app from a website and they just downloaded it and started constructing their own music. This movie had you believe that the characters are supposed to be younger, despite Kevin mentioning his prior history with Marv from the first two Home Alone movies, but somehow the characters are younger. What sense does that make? Who in their outright mind in Hollywood thought that we were going to be dumb enough to believe that time did not go forward, but it went backwards? The kid playing Kevin McAllister, he sounds and looks nothing like Macaulay Culkin. At least in A Christmas Story 2, they gave us a kid who somewhat resembled the original Ralphie. Other movies, they have recasted characters with newer actors, but at least they try to make it look believable to where they're somewhat look-alikeable and they're somewhat sounding a lot like the original actors who played these characters. This kid from Home Alone 4 He did not have the vibe. He did not have it. And this was something that was only the beginning. French Stewart as Marv does not make any sense. Everybody said he resembles Joe Pesci because he wore a hat and dressed similar. I do see the similarities, but he did not look and sound anything like Daniel Stern's Marv. Nothing like him. The dialogue was off. Marv does not go kidnap people. He's a home invader. He's not somebody that's in the tech and kidnapping a prince. Who in their outright mind thought it was a good idea to do this? If they had given French Stewart a different character, it might have salvaged some of the damage because at least he's someone new. He's not Marv. And they had you believe that he was Marv. I don't even want to get into the actress who played Marv's girlfriend. I don't really know much about her. But at least she was a brand new character. They didn't ever end up being someone from the previous movies. And you know what? Another thing about this movie, did you notice that not only is Kevin's family still missing without explanation, but also they never explain what happened to the old man from the first movie that shoveled the sidewalks that Kevin was afraid of? Or the woman in the park in the second movie who had the pigeons? Why couldn't Kevin ever mention them? Because clearly he did stay in touch with them, did he not? And it also, the plot itself was dumb. Kevin is running away to live with his dad, who lives with some stuck-up snob who's played by Alyssa Milano. Great actress, no doubt about it, but somebody who was very annoying in this movie. A house that is run by tech. I get it, it's years later. The times have changed. But Kevin would have never relied on tech. He would have built his own traps just like he did in Home Alone 1 and 2. This movie is insulting because it went against the formula of 1 and 2. Hell, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but I have to say Home Alone 3, it was a bad movie, but not as bad as this one because at least they gave us a new kid, a new location, and new characters. They didn't insult us by bringing in actors who look nothing like the cast members. They didn't bring a movie plot into place that goes against what the first two films were. And the idea, again, as I mentioned, they wanted to make a sitcom off of Home Alone 4 if it went well. Just try to process that for a second and just tell me, how in the hell does that work? And not only that, this movie, Home Alone 4 Taking Back the House, is regarded not only as the worst Home Alone in the series, but it is regarded as one of the worst movies ever made. People are going to say, well, hey, it was not in movie theaters, so it's going to be made for TV because there's not many great effects as a movie in the theaters. No, that excuse is not going to fly. Home Alone 4 has been ripped apart by nearly every review website that has ever talked about this. The customer reviews are god-awful. There maybe are a few people that have kids that like the movie because they want their kids to have a heartfelt movie, which I get. But there's more hate against this movie than ever. And every year they play it on Christmas time a lot more than Home Alone 1 and 2, which is actually something that is insulting. Home Alone 4 Taking Back the House gets played more than the original movies. Okay? You cannot expect me and a lot of people that looked at the first two films as being great want to see this pile of shit again. And not only that, it was the film that completely ended any enjoyment in seeing these movies come along again. I didn't see Home Alone 5. I heard the other day that a part 6 was made. I'm not even going to waste time even seeing it. Hollywood had lost their minds when they attempted this movie. This movie was so bad that I cannot bring myself to watch any further films ever again. I hope that Hollywood will stop making these movies, but they're not going to do it. They're going to keep on making these movies every, 5-10 years now? Oh yeah, let's bring back another Home Alone movie. Does Hollywood not understand why Daniel Stern saw the script and did not want to be in this movie? I don't even think they even asked Joe Pesci to return. If he ever saw the script, he would probably do what his character in Casino did. He would grab a telephone and start beating these people half to death, and that made this idea that this movie should have been made. Macaulay Culkin, I feel so bad for him. His character, Kevin McAllister, is forever tarnished by what they did in Home Alone 4. And before someone says, well, why are you attacking the actor? I'm not attacking the actor who played Kevin in Home Alone 4. He was a young kid. I don't know if he did anything before this. No fault of the actors involved in this movie. They tried their best from an acting standpoint. They did decent. But writing-wise, this movie was god-awful. A house that is powered by tech goes against what Kevin was about. You're going to tell me that Kevin couldn't reconstruct his traps again? Or make some new ones, or maybe bring back some from the previous movies? Figure that one out. But it just goes to show. It just goes to show. Hollywood did not learn from the failure of Home Alone 3. And they said years later, hey, let's bring back another movie. Let's bring back some of the characters from Home Alone 1 and 2. Let's insult the intelligence of the audience and have them be casted by characters who look nothing like the original actors. And let's just pretend it's 10 years later after Home Alone 2 when it really isn't. This is why Hollywood needs to knock it off. But they only made that movie, Home Alone 4, and the sitcom idea because they wanted this. And look what happened. It caused more harm than good. There was a backlash against this movie. If you type in Home Alone 4 Taking Back the House rants, watch these videos of what people say. Give or take, I hate this movie. I think it's one of the worst movies I ever saw, next to Simon Says with Dennis Rodman. I think this movie failed. If you're watching these Home Alone movies, watch 1 and 2, and if you want to pass the time, 3, but don't go any further than that, because you're going to end up suffering a lot of, well, you're going to be tortured. I'll just say that. This movie was so hard to watch. It took me years to get through it. A lot of you suffered too. I hope they never do another movie like this again with characters from previous movies recasted by actors who look nothing like them. I hope they don't ever do a movie and get this whole thing wrong like they did with this movie. Never again. Never again am I watching these Home Alone movies that come along. And you all need to avoid Home Alone 4 Taking Back the House because it is complete 100% dog shit. This has been my part 2 video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But seriously, avoid this movie by all means because you're going to regret it if you watch it like I did. No, never again. Never again am I going to watch these movies. This has been my rant part 2. Thanks again for watching.